Ileani Cinciella, plus the essence for the essence blessings. Amazing awesomenicity, sacred trauma here. How are y'all doing tonight? So there's a lot of riots going on tonight in Los Angeles. Setting cars on fire, and all those people came up clack, 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 clack with fucking what do you call that? Immigrants, Homeland Security, FBI, National Guard. Pete Hegsworth is going to sound out the Marine Corps. The law enforcement came out of a garage, clacking out motherfuckers with fucking rubber bullets and tear gas. So active duty Marines at Camp Pendleton. Right? So Marines. Yeah, what's up, Jesse Moore? Did you from the Natties that when are we getting back to Mother Russia? So Mother Russia. I was in Russia, and the Russian government told me I had to go back to America for the election. I could come back to Mother Russia after Trump was inaugurated. So I told them, if I have to go back to America, I'm going to fucking rampage. I'm going to stay in America for the martial law and the Civil War. And so I'll go to Mother Russia after the Civil War is fucking popped off. Ian Hayward delivered. John Arthur Hayward delivered. Gemini John delivered. Paul Hayward, I didn't send anything. Fucking Annette, holy shit, dude, I sent all that shit. Yeah. Anyways, there's no reply. So we're going back to Mother Russia probably in a year and 2 months from now. I told him I'm going to stay in America for the fucking rampage. The fucking Civil War. So, anyways, Pete Hegsworth said that China is going to invade Taiwan, so we have to get ready. But remember, okay, so think about it. The military-industrial complex needs continuous war, It always has to be above, never below. If it goes below, then the money does not flow. Spice will not flow if there is not war above. All right. So the war in Ukraine is an above. It's a flowing float of above the requirement for the military-industrial complex to embezzle trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars. All right. So think about for like 20 years we were in Afghanistan. Even though we lost and we retreated, that trillions of dollars could have put America above and beyond. That could have meant universal health care, universal living wage, or universal basic income, universal housing, universal education. Remember, those things are the primary requirements for peace. So the government keeps saying, we want peace with you, Canada. So before I went to Mother Russia, the only requirement of peace was fix my wrist. I was sent back to America, so that all changed. So um, the current preliminary requirement of peace is many things. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So universal education. So that means college, university is free, paid for by the government. So the whole point of this is to say people do not join the military anymore. The military is the only reason people who are poor commit obedience to oppression. So honestly, let's be honest. If when universal health care, universal basic income, universal housing, universal education, and universal living wage are imposed, that negates the value of the military. The military gives health care. The military gives education. The military gives welfare, which is the universal basic income, right? And the universal basic living wage. So if you join the military, you don't have to worry about health care because you always have health care. But you have to go through the bullshit of the VA. If we impose, when I impose universal health care, that makes the VA irrelevant due to the fact that you no longer have to go through the Veteran Affairs applications for anything. Whether you're looking for a wheelchair, a prosthetic, painkillers, that's all gone. So most veterans don't understand this. Veterans are people who volunteer for the military and they come back to America. So universal health care negates veterans affairs, the VA benefits, all right? Due to the fact that universal health care, you just go to a hospital and you get health care. You no longer have to appeal. You no longer have to petition. You no longer have to get a doctor for no. As soon as a doctor states this is the requirement for you, there it is. All right. So most veterans don't understand this because they're brainwashed. Remember, I am an operative. I was drafted. So healthcare is part of the military-industrial complex to create oppression to enforce the military-industrial complex. So once universal health care is imposed, the VA is irrelevant. You can leave the VA and go get your universal health care, and then you no longer have to fight. You no longer have to go to war. All right. So universal health care destroys the VA benefits. So universal education destroys the GI Bill. So think about it, there used to be universal education. Every state prior to Ronald Reagan becoming the governor of California, every state paid, had free universal health care, all right? Or not, free universal higher education. So you could go through college. As long as you proved you applied, all right? So as long as you said, hey, here's my receipt of application. So you got college for free. You got the Pell Grant. Okay, so the Pell Grant is another smoke and mirrors. With that said, university, colleges, higher education got funding for people who applied for the Pell Grant, even though the people were denied for the Pell Grant. So if you apply for a Pell Grant in various states and were denied, that state got funding for its universities and colleges, whether or not you were accepted in to that state. So they destroyed that and they made a in-state, out-of-state, international student pricing. So that pricing is irrelevant and denied. That circumvented, or it's just denied, denial. So here's the thing: a lot of people don't know this. If you apply for a college and you're denied, that college still gets money based upon your application, right? So that application back in the day in the 50s and 60s and 70s allowed a higher education facility, a university and college, to receive constant funding, even if they denied you, because that's the law. That was the law, all right? So Reagan eliminated that, all right? So with me, because I'm about to, honestly, like in a couple of weeks to a couple of months, it's going to probably be different. Because we have a budget. We have to leave that. Anyway, so universal health care, universal education. So if you have universal health care and universal education, the Pell Grant, GI Bill, and the VA become irrelevant. With that said, um, there's universal housing, universal basic living wage, and universal basic income. So people in the military, all right, people in the military, they're not supposed to receive funding for their military service until they're 65. Remember, it's supposed to be a retirement thing. So the government allowed people in the military to receive money benefit, financial benefits. Remember, in the military, it's called the benefit, prior to the age of 65. All right, so when that is ended, a universal basic living wage is facilitated. That means everybody who was in the military and everybody who was not in the military, the people who have to work for the military to get paid, receive the same amount of money, right? So then that means there's no reason to volunteer for the military. So think about it. This person volunteered for the military, this person does not. This person in the military gets VA benefits, health care. This person in the military gets the GI Bill, education, and this person in the military gets welfare, universal basic income. So once that's annihilated, that means everybody, the people who did not volunteer for the military, get health care, education, and a welfare check. Money from the government, right? So as soon as these requirements are imposed, people will no longer be required to volunteer for the military to get health care, education, and funding, uh, which the government has the money for. All right? So, those things plus a living wage means volunteering for the military is irrelevant. Because remember, the military is a middleman for the corporate dictatorship, the corporate oppression of America. So if you recognize that everybody who went into the military for Iraq and Afghanistan, so Iraq is Halliburton, Standard Oil. Afghanistan is Big Pharma, Merck, Johnson and Johnson. Okay, so think about it, Iraq is Big Oil, Halliburton, Standard Oil. Afghanistan is GMOs, fucking Monsanto, Merck, Johnson and Johnson, Pfizer. All right, the opioids. Because remember, here in America, we have an opioid epidemic. So that is gone. So American children, American people, American citizens will no longer be forced into a corporate dictatorship of economic oppression to join the military just so they get health care, just so they get housing, universal basic income, pay for their wage, pay for their life, because there's no universal basic income and no universal living wage. Just think about it. In the 1970s, before Reagan became president and governor of California, um, people made, compared to our wage, 132,000 a year. So think about it. You make 132,000 a year. That's $66 an hour. You make 132,000 a year. You can bag groceries and still support your family, pay for your home, pay for your car, your boat, your family vacation, and your children's education. Even though your children's education was paid for back then. So your children's education did not exceed $200 a month back then. So $200 a month is $1,400 a year. All right. So if you make 132,000 a year, your children going to school only equals $1,400 a year. So if you have a family of five, which is three children and two adults, you can pay for your three children excess payments, right? And your children went to school and still made that same amount in their job. So they could pay for their books, their computer, their laptop, their calculator, their paper, their pen, their art supplies on a part-time job, right? So these things existed in the 1970s, and then in the 1980s, they were removed to force people to join the military to support the military industrial complex of a corporate dictatorship. So a lot of people don't want to know this because a lot of people say, well, hey, what about all these people who have jobs and paid for this? They were the sacrificial lamb, honestly. So you have people who did not have children. They did not receive these benefits. And they're like, well, my children, I don't receive any of these because I don't have children. So they were the puppeteers, the puppets of the puppeteers that brought about the current oppression of economic poverty that requires children to join the military. All right? So here we are. One second, I'm smoking a cigarette. Okay, so this is a lighter I got in Dubai. I pull this thing down and the coil lights up. Let's read these chats, motherfucker. Hold on. So I used to say if American government wants peace with me, they have to fix my wrist. Now that's no longer on the first requirement. I have one, two, and three. One is all the universal bullshit. Two is the fixing of my wrist and the acknowledgement of people who go against me must be prosecuted in accordance to due process. Three, fucking rape and murder everybody who goes against me if we're not going to fucking follow the law. All right, so let's go live chat. Live chat. Okay, so we're looking at the live chat. Okay, so Amazing Awesome this week does not have anybody watching. All right, well, there's two people watching, but they're not chatting. Okay, so we're looking at the live chat of psychic trauma. So the live chat of psychic Kayla, Jesse Mohamelo. Did you from that? No, I did not. When are you going back to Mother Russia? Mother Russia will be within a year to a month. Because within a year and a month, we'll be in a civil war. All right? Biachi, BBH, Jews, whatever, who the fuck, stop kidding. Natty wasn't happy. I just showed her rainbow haired sister on a Blacks panel. Fuck Natty. I got blocked PRA worth of kidding. Nobody cares about you wanting more free shit. Get a full time job and entertain us. Okay, okay. Then I shouldn't pay taxes and nobody else should pay taxes. And every corporation must follow the edict. PH, think about it, yo. If everybody in Walmart got paid the 215 an hour, because that's the edict, you would get paid more. BH, you would be paid $1,000 an hour for your private company. I said this to people at where I get my nose plucked, which is a barber shop. And like, we don't make that much money. And I was like, well, you don't make that much money because other people don't make that much money. So think if everybody made a minimum of $200 an hour, you could charge a minimum of $200 an hour, right? And they're like, well, yeah. And I was like, okay, but if you are a highly skilled barber, hairstylist, you could charge more than that. So people would have to pay 2 to 3 hours worth, which means you would get 400 to 600 an hour. Did you get a reply from Natty's mom? No. OFMG, Kenny, nobody cares. Get a job. Nobody should get a job unless they're being paid at least $200 an hour. If you were white, you would understand this. Kenny, stop. Yes, Afghanistan is known for its parasite exports, not a good point. Pesticides exports. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Kenny, shut up. Oh yeah. Kenny speaking truths and shit me. Time to read these chats just after another 20 minutes giving you free shit rant, right? So I wish you were in LA to take care of peaceful protest situation. If no protest is peaceful. That's the thing, all right? Peaceful protest means I can go into a government office and shit on the floor and say, hey, dude, fuck you. I don't care if you pay your taxes, Kenny. I pay myself, Kenny. Okay, so here's the thing. Why are you paying taxes? Think about it. If everybody was taught to file their own church. So in America, if you have a church, you don't pay taxes. So if anybody in America incorporated themselves as a church and filed a 1099-G and they got all their taxes from whatever work they did and then donated their entire paycheck to their church, they could get money from their church tax-free, all right? Which means there's no longer Social Security and taxes no longer exist. And every person would be paid without taxes, right? But anyways, here we are. It is 11:12 p.m. I'm just kicking it. What about that? Kenny, are you a Scientologist? No. Well, I'm an honorary Scientologist because I know the dude from Greece, Travolta, and I consider, and I've said before, that Tom Cruise is my brother from another mother. John Travolta and Tom Cruise, I know. And the dude who played Chef on South Park, I think he's dead now, but we met each other. Kenny Cruz, right? Uh, so here we are. I'm drinking. So when I was in Dubai, my first day in Dubai, I dealt with some shit. I went to the Burj Khalifa. I met that fucking Indian girl who fucking did COVID fraud. Then I went to the Mall of Dubai. I'm gonna open this up. It's allegedly 62 degrees out here. I'm opening up the shit over here on the side. So, anyways, I bought this ring. It was $9. It was a mood ring. It's not the mood ring that I bought for $30 in the Mall of America, and I'm thinking about contacting him again and getting a mood ring. So, if we are Americans are paid a true wage, that's the thing. But people say, "Oh, if you don't want to get paid minimum wage, don't work." Well, remember, rent in this country is based upon a law. So if you want to pay rent, it does not exceed 20% of the local minimum wage or federal minimum wage. Federal minimum wage. It does not exceed 30% of the local minimum wage. All right. So in the states that don't have a local minimum wage, which is predominantly in the southeast, the south, um, your rent's not allowed to exceed $7.25 an hour. All right, so $7.25 an hour. We're going to, for easy math, we're going to round to $8. All right, so $8 an hour equals times two, $16,000 a year. All right. That means $8 times $40 a week times 52 weeks a year, or 50 weeks a year, because you're not, if you get vacation, you're not paid. Okay, so think about it. $8 times 40. I'll grab my calculator so nobody's fucking weird about it. All right, so 8.00 times 32 hours a week, because that's full time, equals $256. All right. Times, let's say 52 weeks a year. 52 weeks a year equals $13,312 divided by 12 equals $1,109, right? So if you work for minimum wage, or if you live in a state that has federal minimum wage, you technically, by law, are not allowed to be charged more than $1,109 per month. But if you make 7.25 times 32 equals 243 times 4 equals. Okay, hold on. Oh, I forgot to do the point 0.3. Fuck. Shit. Okay, so um, times point 0.3 equals. Fuck, dude. Hold on. I'm gonna smoke the cigarette. I'll do that. You're right. Section 8 has to obey the law. So 7.25, all right, per hour times 8 hours a day. Oh, no. Holy shit. 7.25 times 32 equals $232 a week, all right, times 52 weeks, 52 equals 12,064, all right, times 0.3 equals 3,619 divided by 12 months, $301, all right? So rent in this country cannot exceed $301 a month, all right? That is actual law that's not imposed. So if you live in America and you are in a state that does not have a state minimum wage, you have to go off the federal minimum wage. And the federal law for rent, all right, in the federal law of mortgage for a home is the same. It's 0.3, it's 30% of the cost. So let's say it costs, so think about it. Let's say it costs $200,000 to build a home. $200,000 times 0.3 is 60,000, right? So 200,000 plus 60,000 equals $260,000. All right. So divided by 12, 21,000 a year, right? So then you're okay. Oh no, shit, fuck. We're going to say a 20-month fucking. Fuck. So that's 6,000 a year. All right. So 6,000 or fuck. Okay, so 260,000 for a 20-year fucking mortgage is 21,000. All right, 21,666 divided by 12 equals 1,800 a month. All right, so the max you can pay for a mortgage on a 20-year mortgage is 1,800 a month. So if you divide that by 4 week, or yeah, so that's $450 a week for a home that you own. All right, 450. Hold on, 450 equals. Okay, so let's look at it. 7.25 times 8 hours equals 58 times 5 days a week equals 290 times 4 equals 116. Okay, so think about it, yo. The math is almost as good as fears with the catching up with chat. I don't care if you pay your taxes, Kenny. I pay myself. Well, you shouldn't. So think about it, BH, whatever. Shit on the floor, all about Kenny. Are you a Scientologist? No, Kenny Caruso. Ha, what up, Kenny? Section 8. I have a Section 8 tenant paying $31 and Section 8 vouchers paying $1,900. Lush as fuck. That's the hookup. No. That's the tax write off that a different corporation besides you get at the end. So think about it, yo. If it costs $200,000 to build the home, honestly, that's what it costs. But if you buy a used home, or if you're paying, seriously, that's 30%. So times 0.3 equals 60,000 divided by 12 months is 5,000. Okay, so that's 5,000 a year, right? For 20 years. Let's do it again. All right, so 200,000, right, for the price of the home. So I times, wait, divided by 0.3. Dude, I'm drunk. Hold on. Get on it, Kenny. Kenny, what's the point of this? The point is we're being overpriced and fucking enslaved, right? So a person is to move. Yeah, honestly, the point is Project Mayhem is about the community, all right? I was in Dubai, and in Dubai, over 100,000 people went missing. He's trying to hurt our heads. Yeah. It's hurt everybody's head. But all I'm saying is the cost of the home is 200,000. All right, 200,000. Okay, so if I'm paying a 20-year fucking mortgage, all right, I only have to pay 30% of that. So 0.3 equals, or 200,000 times 23 equals 60,000. All right. So 60,000 divided by 20 equals 3,000 a year. Okay, so we'll divide that by 2 equals $250 a month. All right, so $250 a month, but there's 7% interest. So times 0.07 equals $17. Let's make it 20. All right. So that means 250 plus 20 equals $270, yo. $270, all right, a month. But if you're saying no, Kenny, they need to pay more, all right, so then that's times 4 equals $1,000 a month. Okay, so $1,000 a month. So let's look at it again. 7.25 times 8 hours a day equals $58 a day for 8 hours times 32 per week times. Wait, no, hold on. 7.25 per hour times 32. 32 equals 275 a week. All right. So we're going to say times 52 weeks times 52 weeks equals 14,000. Right. Divided by 0.3. No, times 0.3. $4,297 divided by 12 months equals $358 a year. Okay, so $358 a year. So $358 per month. Okay, so if we look at $358 per month, so 7.25 times 32 hours a week. So $232 is what you make in a week, but you have to pay $358 a month. All right, so you have to pay a week and a half for your mortgage. That means you own the home. That's not renting, right? So if you're renting, $7.25, right, times 32 hours a week equals $232 a week, right, times 52 weeks a year equals 12,000. But if you're renting, it's only 20%, right? So times 0.20 equals 242,412 divided by 12 months equals $201. $201 a month. So rent in the states that have federal minimum wage is not allowed to exceed $201 a month. Okay, I'm going to read these chats. Trying to hurt Kenny, buy a house, rent the homes out, which should pay at least 70%. No, it shouldn't pay 75% of the mortgage. No, it's 0.3% of the mortgage. Yeah, so it's 30%. My buddy lives in Hawaii in a 2-bedroom apartment for like $200 a month. He has a room, but he's hardly ever there. But he's batshit crazy. Does he live on the side of volcano, on top of a hill, in an apartment? He said there's chickens running around. I think he's in Maui. My first house was around 160,000 K. I put up 20% down, had a monthly payment of $800 a month. Can you just use that number? Okay, whatever. I bet Dog the Bounty Hunter busted some ice heads and then chicken running streets. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Those chicken heads didn't make that much money. Okay, I bet Dog Bounty Hunter busted some ice heads and then chicken running streets. That's worth property tax and homeowner insurance factored in. Well, remember, insurance is supposed to be covered by the government, and property tax is not supposed to exist. Okay, so seriously, here in America, property tax not supposed to, and insurance is for fire, water, all that shit. Walsage, Jen, this is a cola class like Coke. Kenny, are you selling drugs? Jen really enjoys them. Walsage, Kenny Walsage said the best. I was eating chickens, the boys. Okay, whatever. Hawaii 5-0. Okay, so think about it, yo. Let's be honest, all right? Here, I'm going to ask my phone. What is minimum wage in Denver right now? The minimum wage in Denver, Colorado is $18.81 an hour, all right? So, okay, 81 point, let's fuck, 18.81, all right? 18.81. Full time is 32, all right? So times 32 hours equals. Okay, so that's how much you're supposed to make per week, all right? Times 52 weeks, times 52. So that's how much you make a year, 31,000, all right? Equals, all right? So then we divide that by 12 months, divide by 1, 2, okay? $2,608.32 times, right? Let's say the maximum of 30%, but it's what you're not paying a mortgage, you're renting, so that's times the maximum of 20%. So times 0.20. Okay, so 0.20 is 521 equal. So I live in a one-bedroom apartment, all right? So this one-bedroom apartment I live in accordance with the law, cannot surpass $521.66 a month. Yeah, that's if I work 52 weeks of the year without getting a day off. All right. So seriously, that is the maximum price in accordance with the law that a one-bedroom apartment can charge in Denver. $521. All right. So I live in this apartment, and this apartment technically is only worth $521 a month. More calculations, math time with Kenny Wheeler. How much money do you think Pickrop does in benefits? Doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about, yo. Drink some alcohol, yo. I'm drinking cheap whiskey. So people think that everybody should pay everything in rent. I was like, no, that's a slave. Right? So why should a person pay all this money in rent? So I live in Section 8 housing, right? They just did a lot of allocated rent increase, right? So I live in an apartment complex, and the allocated rent increase makes my apartment $2,500 a month. So now they get 2,500 times 116 times 1, 2. Um, it's supposed to be 5 million, all right? 5 million a year, okay? So they are now allowed to times 5 equals 25 million. So they get 25 million in a tax write-off that they can sell. So all these apartment complexes jack their rent based upon a ratio that's not following the law because they're not filing their tax write-offs in accordance with the law. So they're allowed to say fair market value. No, no, no. Fair market value cannot exceed minimum wage. Okay, so there's a lot of apartment complexes. So a lot of people buy a home and they're like, hey, I'm going to chop up this home. And I'm going to put bathrooms in all these different spots. So it makes it a different unit. But the thing is, they're using a shared living room and a shared kitchen. No, 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 no. Each unit has to have its own kitchen, its own bathroom, its own living room, and its own room. That's where I live. I'm in the living room. That's the kitchen. That's the bathroom. That's my room. All right. So we'll do it again. We'll say $19 an hour for easy money. $19 an hour times 32 hours a week is 608. All right. Times 52 weeks a year is 31,000. Divide that by 12 months equals 2,634.66. All right. So then times that by 20 times 0.20 is $527. All right. We'll just say $527. So $527. So the apartment complex I live in right now, where I live, my apartment, by law, is not worth more than $527 a month. What the fuck, dude? How much money do you think that boy eats like $100 in fast food daily? What is called coca? Kenny, I think. Yeah. Okay, so seriously, you're saying Pick Rob eats $100 a fucking day in fast food? I don't know about that. All right. So the thing is, $527 a month. All right, let's check this out. What is the average for disability per month? All right, here it is. The average Social Security disability insurance benefit is around $1,538 per month for disabled workers. However, it's important to note that many beneficiaries receive less than $2,000 a month. Okay, so 1538. All right. So 527, right? So we'll go 1538, 1538, 1538. That's how much a disabled person makes per month. Divided by point three, or no, times point three, times point three. Okay, so 461. So a person on disability should not pay here, because remember, that's the law. They should never have to pay more than $461 a month. That's the law. So then that means they get minus 1538, 1538. They get $1,000 months. All right. Okay, so electricity during the summer is 100. So minus 100. Wait. 1076. 1076 minus $100 for electricity. Okay, so that's how much after electricity. Then let's say it's $50 a month for their phone and their internet. So minus $50. No, for the phone, equals 926. All right, and then their internet is another 20 minus 20 equals 976. Okay, so per month after electricity and their phone, they get $900. All right, so let's divide that by four minimum, right? Divide that by four. So they get $226 a month per week after paying their housing, their rent, their electricity, and their phone and their internet. Okay, so they get $226 a week. How much does it cost to live for food? So let's ask Google. How much is the grocery bill per week for one person in America? Okay, the average American household spends $270 per week on groceries. For a single person, the average grocery bill can range from a minimum of 156 to 200 per week. Okay, so if they're buying eggs, which are outrageous, that's $200 a week. All right, so $200 a week. Okay, so think about it. They're getting 226 a week. All right, so minus 200 minus 200 equals $26 times 4 is $106. All right, so the average person where I live gets $100 a month after expenses. So seriously, this is real. So I'm living in government housing, Section 8 housing, and all the people who collect disability, they're only getting $100 a week after they spend everything that costs to live. All right. So honestly, you're like, well, Kenny, that's $100, right? Or is that $100 a month? Holy shit. Yeah. Oh shit. So okay. So let's do it again. All right. So they're getting $200 a week. Yeah, that's $106 a month. All right. So times 1, 2. They're getting $1,200 a year. Okay, so think about it, If they buy alcohol or marijuana or anything, gas, traveling, going to their medical appointments, all right, they're only getting $106, right, per month. How does the person live after their food, their rent, their internet, their electricity, all their bills? Okay, so I'm being honest. If they have a private car, okay, let's look at this. How much is gas per week? Holy shit, dude. The cost of gas per week in Denver, it can vary depending on several factors, including how much gas you need and the type of gas you purchase. However, the current average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in Colorado is $3. This means if you fill a 10-gallon tank, it would cost you approximately $30. So if it's 30 a week, that's 120 a month. That means after gas, you have $60 a month. After food, gas, electricity, and housing, you have $60 a month. All right. So let's look at the math. 60 times 1.2. It's $720 a month. You get nothing. You're only allowed to live. You get $720 a year, dude. So that means you get $60 every month. So every month. So think about it, yo. 60 times 24. You get $25 a week. After your electricity, your gas, your heating, your phone, your internet, your housing, you get $25 a week. How do you do it? Like, seriously, in America, let's be honest. How does a white person in America who's collecting disability live as a person to engage? So anyway, you get $25 a week. Okay, so let's look at it. 25 times 0.7. 25, 25 times 25 times 7, right? Or divided by 7. 25 divided by 7. 25, you get $3.58 per day. So honestly, a disabled person only gets $3.60 a day, dude, to live. Okay, so think about it. You're like, oh, all these people are buying drugs and alcohol. So if that person paid in to rent, if a disabled person, if an elderly person, remember, these are the people who paid for everything to come here to here. So if a person in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, or 80s who's collecting their disability and their social security, holy fuck, dude. After all their bills are paid, they get $3.60 per day. That's fucked up, dude. How does an American, after paying all their bills and living for decades, paying into the American dream, get $3.60 a day? It's not $3.60 an hour for 8 hours. So think about it. If they got $3.60, okay, so times 8 hours a day, so that's $28.57. So think about it. That almost means they got $30 a day. But it's not. It's not $30 a day. It's $3.60 a day. How does an American, after paying all their bills, after working for 40 years in America, and then saying, hey, I get my Social Security? And billionaires get billions, millionaires get millions, but those of us who already paid in get $3 a day after our bills. After my food, right? And my food is like fucking ramen, dude. Not remember, because eggs cost $15 a dozen, dude. That's $1 an egg. All right. Well, it's $1.25 an egg. So let's go 1.25. 1.225 times 30 days. That's $37 a month for eggs. Right? That's not factored into the normal price of food because the normal price of food doesn't include eggs. What the fuck, yo? Let me read his chats. Okay, how much money does Pick Robin? The boy eats like $100 for Coca. Kenny, I think we understand how to housing. That ain't hard to do when you are 6 hours down. Maintaining. Shout out to Art Program. Kenny, you need a whiteboard. Are we just finding average price ranges? Why would you do this math to live in a city like a literal cage? Exactly. Genitalia. Why would anybody do this math to live in a fucking cage? Okay. So he can yell vagina at his window. Yeah, yeah. So think about it, yo. I yell out vagina, but I only get the bare minimum of how much? How much should I make, right? If minimum wage was the same, it's 132,000 a year. So let's do the math. 1, 2, 3, 0, 0, 0. 132,000 a year divided by 12 months equals 11,000 a month. All right. I don't make 11,000 a month. So I don't get that. You're you're thinking I'm getting a basic minimum wage, which is 11,000 a month. So okay. Well, let me rephrase that. 132,000 divided by 52. That means I would have to make a minimum of $2,538 a week. A week. I don't make $2,500 a week. You're fucking insane, dude. I don't make that. So remember, that's the minimum wage to be 132,000 a year in the 1970s. So right now, I would have to make $2,540 a week. I don't make $2,540, dude. Holy shit, dude! I don't make that much. I'm fucking a fucking slave to corporate dictatorship, and I have to buy $5 bottles of booze that don't get me nowhere. Yeah. How do you feel about that, bro? So thinking about it, I don't make the minimum wage that is required to the minimum wage of the 1970s. Honestly, think about it, If everybody now who made minimum wage made the same minimum wage of the 1970s, they would make a minimum of $2,540 a month, right? No, no, no. Let me read you that. 2,000. Yeah, yeah. 2,500 a week, not a month, a week. So think about it. Think about it. A person bagging groceries or working at McDonald's will make 2,500 a week. Yeah, seriously, 2,500 a week, dude. So think about it, most people don't even make 625 a week. So seriously, let's think about it. 625. That's 15,000 a year. We make one fourth, right? Hold on. We make one eighth of what they used to make in the 19th. Less than one eighth. We make one ninth, honestly. So back in the 70s, seriously, in the 70s, the 1970s, minimum wage in 1 week, you made what we make in 9 weeks, dude. Think about it, that's like a month. That's almost 2 fucking months, dude. So they used to make in 1 week what we now make in 2 months. That's horrible, dude. Fucking horrible. Why would you go to work and pay rent and pay bills and buy food? So everybody's like, oh no, food stamps are shitty. Okay, then they eliminate corporate taxes, right? If you eliminate corporate taxes, eliminate everybody taxes. If you eliminate everybody taxes because corporate taxes are eliminated. So think about like Dick's Sporting Goods. They have a fish tank. That fish tank allows them to claim their museum because they have a fish tank. So any corporation, any business that has a fish tank can claim museum, which means they don't pay taxes. So why should the employees that work somewhere with a fish tank pay taxes? Seriously, Dick's Sporting Goods. So people who work at Walmart, it's not the people who work at Walmart who are fucking eating your taxes. It's the Walmart Corporation. So if Walmart paid a living wage, none of the employees can get food stamps. So the people on food stamps are not the problem. It's the people who work for a corporation that pay their employees so low their employees get food stamps. Yeah, let's read these chats. Jenny, you need a whiteboard. Yeah. Are we just finding average bill prices? Yes, we are. Why would you do all this math to live in a city like a literal cage? You're right. So that's why people are homeless. Why would you live in a city? $3. Why would you do all this math to live in a little cage? Yeah. So think about it. I live in this little cage. So when I was in Russia, they're like, yo, dude, you live in a small communist block housing. So remember, this communist housing I live in, the communists in Russia have better housing. I was expecting it to be like $4+ Look at the average amount of someone in Africa makes a day. No. Fuck you, dude. We're not in Africa, right? So you're saying that all the Americans are fucking niggers? Oh, hey, all the people in America should live like niggers in Africa. Fuck you. Like, honestly, seriously, fuck you, dude. Why should we live like the niggers in Africa? All right, look at the average amount of someone in Africa makes a day. Now, you make a gallon of gas a day. Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. So we make enough money to live in a sardine can with 8 other people to pay for our rent, our bills, our food, and our gas, to go to work so that way we can go back home and live in a sardine can. Price you pay having to be on government things, unfortunately, they don't pay to flourish. I'm, I dude, think about it. Minimum wage should be $66 an hour. If I made $66 an hour, I couldn't live in government housing. I make less than $66 an hour. All right, that's what I'm getting at. So I live in government housing because I don't make enough money to live outside government housing. Think about it, I honestly get like 1 day a week. All right, and then when I make more than 1 day a week, I save my money. So think about it, right now, I've been drinking alcohol. My alcohol spending is $15 a day. No, wait, $15 a week. Let's say $15 a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's $45 a week. 45 times 52 weeks a year. 52 weeks a year. $2,340. So I remember, like sometimes I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. I save my money. So I'm saving $2,340 a year to go better my life, to get a hair transplant, to get teeth, to go fucking find a new home in a different country because I don't make enough money here. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm living in a literal fucking cage, dude. All right, so he can yell vagina at his window, right? Yeah. I make nothing, so I can stand out there and yell vagina. Hoping enough people will watch my live stream so I can make an extra $300 a week or $300 a month on YouTube, right? So let's do the math. If I'm monetized, that's how much I get per year. Per year, dude. But if I get super monetized and enough people watch my shit, 300 times 52. All right, so that's 15,000 a year. Okay, 15,600 divided by 1 2 equals. I get $1,300 a month. If I become monetized, I get an extra 1,300 a month. That covers my plane ticket to go somewhere, right? Not to work, but to go somewhere and do a live stream to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm going through separate countries and surviving war zone, war zone, war zone, terrorism, terrorism, terrorism. And I kill people. I kill human beings so you can watch me on a live stream. So think about it, yo. All you people on YouTube, you're telling me I should get $1,300 a month to go out and kill people. Is that it? $1,300 a fucking month to go out and kill people. Who do you want me to kill? Who do you want me to end? Let's hear it, yo. You make a gallon of gas a day. Yep, that's right. Price you pay having to be on government things, unfortunately, they don't pay you to flourish. What should I flourish? Here I am. How many flourishings should I have to commit to go to an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, at the Robb Elementary School, so children to go get murdered? How much is that child's life? They're being sued for 32 billion, right? That's 1 billion per child. That's it. That's more than 1 billion per child. That's $1 billion per child plus lawyer fees. Okay, so think about it, yo. A child's life. How much is a child's life worth? It costs $1.3 million for a child to graduate high school. Yeah, it's $100,000 a year. All right. So it costs 1.3 million. So if I protect 10 children, that's $13 million, right? But if I protect 10 children, 13 million, if I protect $13 million from taxation, what's the point of law enforcement? How much is law enforcement per day in America? 759,000. The United States spends a significant amount on law enforcement per day. In the fiscal year 2021, the U.S. spent $759,325 per day. No. 759 million. All right. 759,325,125 per day on police and prisons. This equates to an annual expenditure of 277 billion on law enforcement and corrections per year. All right. So 759 million. Okay. I don't know if you're seeing this. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's look at it. 759 million, right? We're going to go back to the calculator. 759 zero 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 zero. All right, per day. Okay, how many children died in Uvalde? How many children died in Uvalde? 19. Okay, and Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde, Texas on May 24th, 2022. 19 children were killed. In addition to the children, 2 teachers were also killed. So we're not counting the 2 teachers, so 17, all right? So 759 million times 19 equals 14 billion. All right. So $14 billion. All right. So think about it, yo. The death of American children at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, had a minimum price range of $14 billion. What are the Uvalde parents prosecuting for money in Uvalde, Texas? What is the civil suit that the Uvalde parents are prosecuting for? It's not showing. I thought it was 32, 27 billion. 27 billion. Uvalde survivors file a 27 billion class action lawsuit. Okay. So 27 billion. 27 billion. All right. 14 billion for the children, but they're saying 27 billion. All right. So 2, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. $27 billion, right? So think about it, yo. It was initially 14 billion. So that's twice. They're charging twice as much, right? So 14 billion times 2 would be 28 billion. But they're only prosecuting for 27. So think about it, yo. They're charging the double amount per child. What the fuck, dude? So that's just nothing. Okay, so $27 billion. All right. Okay, so let's look at the math. 2, 7, 1, 2, 2, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 27 billion divided by 1 9. So they're saying 1,421,052,631. All right. Yeah, yeah. So they're saying, hey, we want double the amount per day. So in America, we're spending um, $14 billion for 19 children. Right? That's what it is. How much is law enforcement per day in America? 759 million. All right. So 759 million. All right. 759 per day. That's how much law enforcement gets paid per day. All right. So times that by 19 children. That's again 14 billion. Okay. Times that by 2 equals 28 billion. So if we round that by 30, just round it up to 30 billion. Okay, so think about it, yo. In the United States of America, we have how many cops? That's just cost. That's not the military. So let's go here. How much is military spending per day in America? 2.25 billion. Okay, so 2.25 billion. I gave the command that all soldiers have to show up to Uvalde, Texas, and protect Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. So that means that one day that they fell was 2.25 billion, right? So we're going to say the children, each child on that day was worth that day's worth of the American military. Because remember, I'm a general. I gave a command to protect American children against all threats, foreign and domestic, in Uvalde, Texas. So the United States military failed on that day, and people were like, "No, no, no, dude, Kenneth, it's only 2.25 billion." And I'm like, "Well, it's 2.25 billion times every child, 19 children." Okay, so let's do the math. 2.250000. 2.25 123 123. Okay, so here it is. Times 19. 42 billion point 750 million. All right. Yeah, yeah. So seriously. Okay. So $42 billion to save a couple of kids in an elementary school, and none of them showed up. None of them. It's $2.25 billion, right? That's how much it cost for the military. And then law enforcement is another 759 million. All right, so think about it. 759 million plus 14.421, right? So let's do the math. 14 billion 421 million plus 759. That's law enforcement, right? 15 billion 180 million, right? Let's divide that by the 19 children that died. $798 million, dude. 799. So basically $800 million. Okay, so let's do the math. 800 $800 million times 19 children equals $15 billion. All right. So the failure of the United States government equals $15,200 per day. So let's be honest. The United States government failed at a rate of $15 billion to protect American children. $15 billion. All right. So think about it. Think about it. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter how many tanks, how many drones. We're saying these children are in America. These children have a value equivalent to the price that America spends to save American children. That means America failed at a rate of $15 billion per day. 15 billion US dollars were lost, inappropriately expended for value, for American children in school to get shot up. Who the fuck we are, dude. I'm gonna read these chats. Okay, Hawaii 5-0. Shit on the floor. Kenny, are you just a Scientologist? Kenny Cruz. Ha ha ha. Kenny Section 8. I have a Section 8 tenant paying $31 in Section 8 vouchers, paying $1,960. Lush as fuck. Yeah. That's the hookup. I need Section 8. Get it on the kid, Eddie. Kenny, what's the point of this? He's trying to hurt our heads. Can he buy a house, rent the rooms out, which should pay at least 75% of the mortgage? No. Shouldn't pay that much because that's illegal. My buddy lives in Hawaii in a 2-bedroom apartment for like $200 a month. He has a roommate, but he's hardly ever there. But he's batshit crazy. Does he live on the side of a volcano? No, on top of a hill in a apartment complex. He said there's chickens running around. I think it's on Maui. My first house was around 160K. I put roughly 20% down. Had monthly payments of $800. Kenny just use that number. I bet Dog the Bounty Hunter busted some ice heads and chicken runs. That's with proper tax, homeowner insurance. Wall says, Jen, this is a cola blast like Coke. Kenny, are you selling drugs? Jen really enjoys them. Kenny Walsets are the best live stream. Chickensy Boys, Hawaii 5-0, more calculations. Math time with Kenneth Wheeler. How much money do you think Rick Rob steals in benefits? The boy eats $100 a day in fast food. What is Coca? Kenny, I think we understand how it does. That ain't hard to do when you are 600 pounds and maintaining short out the art program. Kenny, you need a whiteboard. Are we just finding average bill prices? Why would you do all this math live in the city that's a little cage, right? I live in a cage. So he can yell with giant after one of his perk. How much is Denver gas right now? $3 isn't so much bad for a city. Gas should be 58 cents, let's be honest. I was expecting it to be $4+. Look at the average amount for somewhere in Africa makes a day. Fuck you, we're not in Africa, dude. Seriously, we're not in Africa. Make a gallon of gas a day. Prices you pay having to be on government things. Unfortunately, they don't pay to flourish. Taxes pay the benefits. Buy a hat for your hat. Money is fake. Walmart bullying. Those people are so useless they can only work at Walmart. Remember, that's the government. The government is so useless they can only work at Walmart, right? Let's be honest. Shit. I spilled my fucking booze. I'm about to run out of booze. Smoke a cigarette and then drink her booze. Holy shit, I have one shot of booze left. One shot. All right. Zyklon C. It's cheaper to live in places other than its increase. 1420 is minimum wage they're getting. No, it's 1886. Call the minimum wage tomorrow. File. Are you becoming cops? And let's see would be a good score. How much are you worth if you had a lawsuit? Sounds about right. Kenny, I'm lost this one. You don't know how to do math. But lawsuits. All right. Are you becoming president? You can start a lawsuit. Sounds like Kenny. I'm lost on this one. You don't know how to do math, Kenny. 1 million an hour minimum wage. We should just get paid to do math. So the too tall Chad. Fuck you, Noel. You said not to count the old folks. Everyone should be willing to work without profit sharing. If the company loses money, you pay to work. It's only fair. Are you doing your math? It was 17, Kenny. We got the number already. John Wick has 17, says that's way too old. Kenny, how much do you think you'll need to offer Spooky for one night with Kenny? I think she should pay me because I'm that pretty and I'm that good. What do you think it should cost? Depends. Does she have to fly out to him? Is she paying him, or does he want to GFE? Does he want BB? Is the lawsuit a problem? Yeah. So here we are, dude. So think about it, Spooky Girl made 200,000 a year showing kitties. And fucking a dildo. So think about it, 200,000 a year. That's over $66 an hour. 8 hours a day. Do you think Spooky Girl was fucking rubbing her pussy hole in the clitoris for 8 hours a day? So honestly, let's be real. Spooky Girl doesn't pay this much. So Spooky Girl was honestly think about it, She made 200,000 a year for just rubbing her pussy hole. And yeah, that means she had to work 8 hours a day rubbing her pussy hole. And she made at least $70 or fucking $50 an hour. So she was on OnlyFans, rubbing her pussy hole, fucking her vibrator, other dudes. She made at least $50 an hour as long as she fucked for 8 hours a day. But if there was the same minimum wage as in the 1970s, people would get paid $66 an hour. So $66 an hour is 132,000. $70 an hour is 140, or 40, fucking 74. So if you make 200,000 a year, that's $100 an hour, dude. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Do you think Spooky Girl fucking rampage to fucking Gonger Jam? $100 an hour, 8 hours a day. I saw the way to China. I tried to go to North Korea. Fuck you, dude. I tried to go to North Korea and I wasn't allowed to go to North Korea. In a little rowboat to find out. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, dude. Think about it, yo. on the railroad, I've been fucking talking shit for an hour and 45 minutes. And if Americans made uh, $66 an hour, 132 a year, that we'd be so better off. So think about it, yo. Everything you buy is price ranged at over $400 an hour. But we're about to hit a civil war. We're about to go back to war with Afghanistan, right? About to be all out of alcohol, and I'm feeling shitty. I didn't buy more alcohol. I have one shot left in alcohol, dude. What the fuck is this? I'm about to pass out. 12:32 a.m., 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and all the alcohol stores are closed. Fuck this, dude. I should be able to buy alcohol from fucking vending machines. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Here we are, dude. I'm pissed off as fuck. You want to talk about Dubai? I got Dubai my first day there. I survived some bullshit. My second day there, Mossad tried murdering me at Kite Beach with a fucking dirty syringe and poison gas. 10,000 people a day went missing because we committed a strike. This was our preliminary practice strike against New York City. We're going to go to New York City. When we're in New York City, we're supposed to remove, make people go missing. 10,000 a day, but I'm hoping it's 100,000 a day. What about LA? How much is that costing? A little robo, I sell to China. Literally, I think minimum wage should be 50 cents an hour, and that's being generous. I think math is all wrong. Why should anybody? Okay, well, think about it. 50 cents an hour. 50 cents an hour times 32 hours a week. $16 a week. All right, times 52 weeks. 832 divided by 12 months. That means rent should be $69.33. That's 70. That means $70 for rent. All right. So think about it. If you're recognizing the law, rent should only be $70 a month. Um, negative. That means rent should only be $70 a month. All right. A full day of unskilled labor should cost me $4 a person. Okay, what's unskilled labor? If I have to use a tool, a shovel, a stop a slow sign, that means I have to be skilled to hold the shovel. I have to be skilled to hold the sign. Unskilled labor means no tool. If I have to push a button in McDonald's, I'm a skilled laborer. I have to be trained on that. Kenny, if you're worth more than 50 cents an hour, I'll pay you what you're worth. I'm saying I'm worth $215 an hour. But 90% of the population simply isn't worth that much. Manual labor is for prisoners. No, this is the United States of America. Prison is an act of treason. So think about it like this. In America, a felony is a death penalty offense. All right. So anybody who has a felony is not allowed to live. So think about it. The corporations pay the government to say these are felonies. So felons do not have the right to live. All right. But the Constitution says a felony means a person is not allowed to live. So if you're saying anybody who's a felon is supposed to be put to death, all right? Plain and simple. That's the law. That's the law. Okay, so a felon is somebody who has committed a crime that requires the death penalty. So if somebody committed a crime and they were not sentenced to death, they're not a felon, all right? Manual labor for prisoners. Oh, dang dude doing dang shit. Known between K-Dog skill. Holding a sign is not a skill. It is. You're not American if you don't understand this. All right. Well, if you were worth 215 an hour, I'd pay it in a heartbeat. Darren Bell, keep my name out your mouth. Darren, fuck you. Stop giving out my wife's phone number. I'll fuck your wife for 215 an hour, dude. Hi, Bill again. Stop talking about me on your channel. Now we're talking. Mississippi, how are you? Sips, are you drunk? Sippy, we've had this conversation before. Why should anybody go to work if you can't afford to live? Seriously, Sippy, and everybody else, why should anybody go to work in America and not be an American? Sips, are you drunk? Sippy Kenny is doing math. Now nasty butt sucks. Kenny, I paid 250 an hour to fuck Darren's wife. Keep my name out of your mouth. Fuck you. Darren, join the live stream. Dude, I'm drunk, but I'm about to. I'm sober enough. Dude, I want to be more drunk. I actually want to go out and drink more alcohol, and I'm willing to go to a bar to fucking drink. Kenny, can you even do that for money? This isn't hyperbole. Fuck you, all of you. Think about it on the real world. A business is not supposed to make more than the employee. The employee is supposed to produce money for the business to stay afloat. I'm not calling into your stupid live stream. Shut the fuck up. Raw. Fuck you, dude. Calling in, hold on, let me pass you through. Just keep my name out of your mouth and we won't have any problem. Darren, if that's really you, Van Housley, hold on, let me fucking go to your channel. Your channel. fuck. Um, then let me write. Channing Logan is no risk involved in any of it. Negative these types don't think how place of work. They live in cages, right? Yeah, he like keep his wives screwing out their mouths and then Kenny. One ringy dingy. Silly Capello. More May 29, 2024. You're not the real Darren Pelican. You're a fucking bitch. Fuck you, dude. Yeah, let me go like this. Where's Two Chad Fag? Where's Two Troll Cannoli? Too Tall Rob Cannoli? Where's fucking Van Owsley? Where is fucking Joe Sacco? Come on, Swamp Thing is right there. King of Drunk Wall sits. You can fuck, dude. Dude, okay, so people say I have a tan. And I'm like, yo, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, yo, dude, go do this. I don't give a fuck. Ooh, raw motherfuckers. So, anyways, hopefully tomorrow we send all the emails to these business cards I got. I'm a lot of alcohol. Honestly, my alcohol's gone. And I'm willing to fucking say, fuck you, dude. What does A10 have to do with it? Do you have a 10? Do I have a 10? Tell me. I try to waltz it and can't get back up. Doby. I'm gonna call this live stream, dude. It's been going on for 2 hours, an hour and 59 minutes, dude. Sippy crawl to safety. Think about it, Sippy. All these people talk about being mean to go to your son, so it's they're all liars. All right, think about it. I've been traveling for years. Nobody has paid me. Think about it. Van Owsley, Darren Pelican, whatever you want to call it. Punk rock, fucking negative, you're here. Fucking all these pieces of shit. Like think about it. None of you are willing. Like, I went to Russia, all right? All you people said you paid me to go to Russia. None of you paid up. I went to fucking Cuba. None of you paid up. I went to Turkey, Dubai. None of you paid up. Dude. You're all fucking lying pieces of shit. You're nothing. I gotta say to Kenny, roll the D's. Till we got me fat arse up. Bye, Kenny. Hope the math checks out. I don't give a fuck. None of you have ever did what we agreed to do. I haven't paid you. Yeah, yeah. So think about it, yo. I'll pay for you to go to pick Rob. But pay up, dude. Think about it. You hit my fucking channel. You go to my Venmo, my Cash App, my PayPal is there. You priced the Oxford too high. No, fuck you. I'll pay for a hooker right now. None of you have ever paid up the amount, right? Let's be honest. Years ago, I bet you all to pay up, to pay for whatever you want to pay, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. America will retreat out of Afghanistan. None of you paid. Russia will invade, attack the Ukraine. None of you paid up. Here we are, dude. Gulf of America. Trump would become president. None of you paid up. Trump would define the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. We'll get a funded for pick Rob. I don't care about Turkey. All right. None will, Kenny. Just start shy. They just started shy. Yep. Let's go to skip the games. Let's find one. Yeah. Skip's not true. How fun for Kenny. Biatch. Sub Kenny had to do something. Okay. Biatch, UBH. I still have the tooth. Seriously. You have a P.O. box. Seriously, UBH. Honestly, hold on. UBH, I'm going to grab all the teeth, all of them. I'll send you all the teeth if you give me a P.O. box to send the teeth to. I'm going to go grab them. Hold on, yo. Let me read these chats. I had to do something. I don't like those places where you go to the zoo and see monkeys. Yeah, genitalia. I'll go to the zoo, but none of you paid me to go to the zoo. All right, genitalia. I could go to the Denver Zoo tomorrow if you paid right now. On my fucking channel, I have my Venmo, my Cash App, and my PayPal. None of you have ever paid me to do a single fucking thing. So seriously, come on, let's be honest. Shut the fuck up. None of you will ever pay me. All right. If I pay, I've been looking up a nice hotel for you down south. The updates, blah 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 blah. Who could? Let's just give it all to the viewers. Denver Zoo has cute monkey. Hold on, give him a second. All the team. Well, I want to hug a monkey. How much is the zoo? I'm gonna get your teeth implanted in my jaw. How much is it? Hold on. I'm gonna go grab my teeth. So think about it. This is a tooth. All right. This tooth was my first root canal that I said do an extraction. So I went to Dubai or Turkey. There's this tooth. That's the second tooth. The third tooth. right? This is it. Third tooth, the fourth tooth, right? So these teeth have fillings. None of you have ever made a like BH. Which tooth do you want? Because remember, yo. I told you $50. I told you different prices. I told you $1,000. I told you $100. I told you $50. Which of these teeth right here that are on my fucking desk do you want, dude? I'm reading these chats. I'm gonna read these chats. Hold on. Denver, let's just give it all to the universe be kind. Hold on, scroll up. If not, I will fund them for Kenny. Skip the games, let's find one. I don't like these places. We go to the zoo and see monkeys that paid. Yo. I went to all those different countries, nobody paid. I went to Italy, nobody paid. And then America went to war with Russia. Oh, no. Russia went to war with Ukraine. Nobody paid. All right, so fuck you. You're all lying pieces of shit. I like those places. We go to Zimmer. I've been looking up a nice hotel for you down south. I'll have updates in a day or two. New BH, Biaggi, 12:49 a.m. You know my phone number. You have a private phone number you can call me from. You remember, here's my phone. Here's my phone. None of you ever gave me an address to send a tooth. None of you ever sent me money to send you a tooth. Okay. Let's just give it to the universe. This Denver Zoo has monkeys. Hold on, give them a second. All the teeth. Whale, I want to hug a monkey. How much is the zoo? I could go to the zoo. Tomorrow, I could go to the zoo. Remember, I have the money to go to the zoo, but none of you ever paid me. So think about it. If I go to the Denver Zoo tomorrow, how much money do I get? If I go to the Denver Art Museum, how much money do I get? None of you are being real. All right. I'm going to get your teeth implanted in my jaw. How much is it? How much to eat half an ounce of mushrooms at the zoo? If you're buying free outlaw cat, they're not even in a jar. Well, you have to go hang out with me while I trip. Good luck. Okay, Biatch, 12:51 a.m. Good luck. Ha. On the shelf at the ready. Me. Oh man, heck yeah, Kenny's teeth. Damn. Trip buddies. Biaggi, kissing face. Loose teeth. 3 is a winner. Just teeth up on the shelf. Aha. That's my favorite one. 3 is loose. That one is going to look good in your mouth like a claw negative. I like number 3. BPM, watch out. Number 3. Think I want it. BPM, want it. Number 1, I think. How much for all? Mississippi at negative. Mississippi Talker. Which one did you like? I'll buy for loose and lush are 2 different things, dumbass. You should include artwork with each other. Lush, I feel like Momo sold his teeth includes some art. What does Lush mean? Microsoft portrait on the tooth. Can the week do a comb, octopus, and teeth? Genitalia at 12:54 a.m. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I do have your number. I think I'll give you a ring, my bad, dude. Send the tooth to Amanda first. Have her do art on it and send it to BH. Loses bad energy. Loses bad energy. My phone won't spell. How much is the zoo? Like $50. You get culturally enriched TBF with snow cones. It's like $750, $75. One gift from the gift shop, $26 admission. I got teeth neggy. I need headphones. They have Dippin' Dots, so he'll need money for that. That leaves $51 dues for the gift shop. BH. Biachi. $51. Okay, so remember, this is a tooth you said no to. This is a tooth you said no to. This is the tooth that you're willing to pay, right? Because remember, this tooth right here had a cap on it, right? And you said you'd pay a couple $100 for that in Turkey. So this tooth, still in the same package, this tooth was removed here in America, all right? And this tooth also was supposed to be a crown, a fucking whatever the fuck. None of you have sent me money for those teeth, right? So those teeth right here, I have all those teeth. I have four separate fucking teeth. I have one, two, this tooth right here from Turkey, this tooth right here from Turkey, and then this tooth right here from Turkey. All right? None of you have ever sent me money to get these teeth. So fuck you, dude. Honestly, none of you will ever pay me for my teeth. I'm not a fucking retard, dude. So think about it, yo. Um, I've always been honest, and I've always been saying, hey, this artwork, that artwork, this painting, this painting. Now we're here talking about the teeth that we talked about 6 months ago, motherfucker. None of you have decided to purchase my teeth. So let's look at this tooth. Okay, so this tooth right here. All right. It has the same filling. That tooth is right there. That came from my fucking mouth, dude. None of you have ever represented to buy that tooth. Don't be a fucking bitch, dude. Let me read these chats. They have Dippin' Dots, so he'll be money for that too. That leaves $51 runes for the gift shop. 49, I'm sorry. BH at 12:57 a.m. Biachi 49. Sorry, whatever. Can you bring Amy? No. This isn't about Amy. This is about the fat bitch that lives across the hall from. This is about these teeth. Right now, these teeth. I have four teeth. Four fucking teeth. How much for four fucking teeth out my fucking mouth? That's what I'm saying. Fuck off with your bitch shit. I'm gonna smoke another cigarette. Okay, math is the best. I'll send you 50 if you bring Amy. No, fuck you. No, Amy. I want number three, buddy. Yeah, okay. Newbie H, you're the only person who ever hit me up to buy these teeth. Okay, yes. Man, BH, you're gonna look so good. Yeah, that's a badass tooth. That's a pretty tooth. I never said a couple hundred. Okay, well, you didn't, but other people did. I'm reading these chats. Hold on. Buy the pick route pop in the gift. I'm getting it installed upside down. I was confident. How long does the tooth take to come out? I would determine cost of tooth. Intoxicate calories. I forgot my cash app pin. I would never agree on a couple hundred for a tooth, buddy. You turned down 500 for the angel painting. I did. I did turn down 500 for the angel painting. You turned down for those look good except the first one. Why did they pull them? I don't have 15,000 to pay for your art, Kenny. It's a low REI for me. PH, don't get all testy with me, pal. I'm just trying to buy your teeth in the painting. I don't want all four. Nothing personal. I just need number four. $80 per teeth. Oh fuck. There anyone who snowballed Kenny for a couple hundred. Okay, so here we go. I read all the chats. All right, so tooth number one. All right, it's still in the same package. This package has been the same package for a fucking year, 365 days. This is the same package that people said they would pay $500 for this tooth. So new BH, you're not getting the painting. I'm saying these are teeth from my mouth. All right. So tooth in the package. All right. So this tooth was pulled in Turkey. This tooth was also pulled in Turkey. It was a molar, and so there are honestly like cavities trying to form, but it got pulled before the cavities formed. And then there's this one. Oop, hold on. So this is the main tooth that everybody talks about. All right. So this tooth had all those three roots. But remember, this tooth was covered in a fucking crown. All right. So this one is shaved down. All right. So you see that? That's a crown. That little brown mark there was a cavity upon the crown, and they didn't drill it away. They just capped it with a crown. So those are my teeth. Okay, oh fuck, y'all. Anyone snowball candy cup of tea? Let's auction them. I bet Natty could use those too. 500 for one tooth is a great sell. Take the offer. All right, let's do this offer. When has Biatch ever said the truth? I'll pull my own teeth, good for 500 each. I'll count the tooth market isn't as hot as it was a couple months ago. I don't give a fuck. It's the best one. Was Trump president when those tooth were cool? No, no. Trump was not. Trump was not president when any of these teeth were pulled. None of these teeth were pulled when Trump was president. No, wait. Oh yeah, he was. That's right. This is the Biden tooth. Okay. These three teeth. These are Trump teeth. These three teeth were pulled when Trump was president. When Trump was president, I went over to Turkey. All right. Yeah, was Trump president? If you just broke the goodest tooth, I'm going to get pissed. No, they're right here. Oh, few, it's fine. Dude, you dropped it again. Best I got to do is 25. All right. Did they steal your crown? Kenny, be careful. Quit dropping the goods, Kenny. 3 fucking times. $11 shipped, final offer. Kenny gets to charge extra shipping and handling. Whoa. One, two, three. Those are all Trump teeth. 4. There it is. I'm about to pass out. It's 1:09 a.m. and I've been live streaming for 2 hours and 23 minutes. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette and pass out, dude. Honestly. Okay, so I'm about to pass out, dude. I'm about to fucking call it, dude. No other alcohol. Dude, seriously. I'm full, ate too much with my beats. Snoring. My teeth are worth more than $1 or 1 hour. Seriously. Someone worked for you for 1 hour and they said you Mississippi. Okay, Mississippi. Think about how these people, what you call them PH or other people, said, hey, we'll fly you to fucking bust up a headstone. None of these people paid me to bust up that headstone. None of these people paid me to go to Music Biz Marty's fucking funeral and talk shit. I live streamed it. They said they would pay me to live stream it. Nobody paid me. So, Mississippi, it's all fake ass bullshit. Nobody's going to do it. So, think about it, Mississippi. You'll never have to worry about me going to the South and crushing your fucking son's headstone and selling it off because nobody's paying me. It's just a lie. It's bullshit. So think about when like Spooky Girl was like, "Oh, I'll fuck Kenneth and do all this shit." Nope, never happened. Fucking Nicolette was like, "Oh, I'll fuck Kenneth and do all this shit." Never happened. Noel said he'd pay for it. Missy, or you said you'd pay for it. Spooky Girl said she'd pay for it. Fucking Nicolette said she'd pay for it. I sent Nicolette fucking kratom and fucking flavored cigarettes and a vape. Never fucking got paid for it. None of them. No, Richard Wright, UVH, Jack, fucking punk rock, Vanguard, never paid for anything. So think about it, yo. None of these people are going to pay for my teeth. They're never going to pay for me to go to the South and bust up your son's gravestone. It's all a lie. I pay for me, all right? I paid for me to go to the Vatican. I paid for me to go to Washington, D.C. to get my fucking Russian visa. I got my Russian visa. I paid for me to go to Russia. I came back from Russia. I paid for me to go to Turkey to get my teeth, to get these teeth pulled. Nobody ever paid me anything. I paid for me to go to Dubai. None of these people are telling the truth. You know? If someone worked for you, how was it? Night systems, ESAD, I don't know what that means. Doctor. Night Shaw, we never made final plans. Signaling. Yeah, of course. Even though I've always been there and said, hey, think about it, Biaggi. We never made final plans, Dingling. Yeah, yeah. So think about it. When I go to New York City for a Luigi Mangione fucking court date, none of these people are paying for it. My teeth are still here. Nobody's paying. When we agreed if they streamed it, you didn't need to. Whatever. Kenny's playing hard to get. Why I gave you Nicolette stuff? Where's Nikki? I'm poor, don't have the money. Probably being trafficked it in Tijuana, Eddie. I'm en route. I know all this, Kenny. I tried to tell you, fuck them all. So, anyways, here we are. We've been live streaming for 2.5 hours. Nobody is being real. So think about it, yo. Newbie, everybody. You can pay for Nicolette to come to me. I can go to Nicolette. We can live stream each other, making out whatever the fuck you want. So we're not gonna live stream fucking. All right. Same with Spooky Girl. You can pay for Spooky Girl. Remember, Darren stole his wife's money for Spooky Girl to come bummer tramp him. Right? Nobody's gonna pay me to go to Spooky Girl, or Spooky Girl come to me. Same with Nicolette. All right. I have to pay for me to go to all these places. None of you have ever facilitated a single penny, a single dime, a single dollar for me to go anywhere. I remember New BH was saying, hey, find out how much it costs to go to fucking Chicago, to go to fucking Music Biz Marty's fucking funeral. I live streamed it. Nobody paid me a penny, even though they all said they would pay me to live stream. It's all a lie. You're going to Chuck Mangione show? Spooky says she was a down buddy. Feels so good. Well, it doesn't matter. are, and I'm about to call my live stream. The teaser right there. Kenny, the funeral home streamed it. Yeah, yeah, I know. I could have streamed it. Oh, Spooky is doing this. Doesn't matter. Darren went to California and live streamed trying to pick up hookers. And they tried to say, oh, $500 to Boner Jam. Pick Rob. Pick Rob, motherfuckers. A fat piece of shit. They would Boner Jam a fat piece of shit for $500. But nobody ever paid me to go to California. Nobody paid me nothing. I had to work off my ass to get to all these different places. Y'all are fucking lying pieces of shit. So let's just be honest, okay? It doesn't matter if it's Spooky Girl or Nicolette are going to Iran, are going to New York to go to a Luigi Mangione court date. She's not missing out on this, Luke. It doesn't matter. We talking brave here or what? No, no, no. All those girls said if I showed up, they were going to and of course they would because Shaw, dude. What girl would pass on getting this dick if I show up? I'm sorry you had to work for what you wanted, Kenny. That's a drag, dude. I know. I'm with you. Society is cool. But anyways, UBH, everybody. I'm gonna call this live stream. And social media doesn't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if social media gives a shit, dude. I'm gonna put the cigarette out. I'm gonna see if I have. I have the soda, but I don't have the alcohol to drink with the soda. Love you, QBH. I'll be right back. I gotta take a piss. Hold on, motherfuckers. Holy fuck, dude. She's not missing out on this food. It doesn't matter. We're talking grape or. I'm sorry you had to work for what you wanted, Kenny. No. I did not work for what I wanted. I was enslaved to survive. I'm with you, society's crew, and social media doesn't give a shit. You're right. Social media doesn't give a shit. Love you, Kenny. You okay? Did you fall in? Oh, fuck. What's up, y'all? So honestly, here we are. Smoking a cigarette. There's nothing here that anybody knows what's up through these chats. What's up, yo? What's up, everybody? Why doesn't anybody join my live stream? So, I did this thing with the fucking Chat GPT. I did a lingerie. I did AI to make my own lingerie fucking show. And I only got 8 seconds per one, and I downloaded them all. And I'm trying to put it in a video, but for some reason my computer, because the government, is fucking with me. So where's everybody at? So Dubai was a practice run for. I just got in the bed. Y'all still here? Yeah. So Dubai was a practice run for New York City. We were able to remove at least 10,000 people per day who go missing. So Did you figure out if you had organ traffickers around you on occasion? But we're supposed, we, us, I, me, ours, and we, us, the Marine Corps, are supposed to be able to give me an absolution and survive and thrive. And we're supposed to be able to take out New York City. I have to send a fax and an email to Pam Bondi, the United States Attorney General, to state that Brian Thompson died of excited delirium as the official cause of death from United States Marine Corps and the United States Supreme Court. But it really doesn't matter because Project Mayhem, right? Um, I gotta send emails to all those cards tomorrow. I have tomorrow off. I had today off, but I had to get laundry. Wash clothes, wash it. But that's what I'm supposed to look for. Anyways, ugh, we're going to do a lot. We gotta send some emails to CIA and the White House and other people. There's one email that says everybody who goes against me has to be put through recording 17 minutes. Everybody who encouraged harm against me, who encouraged crime against me. But then there's the main one. Or it could be secondary because the main one could be the one getting motherfuckers with dogs and shit. But anyways, we have to write a letter and send that letter to the government saying that Brian Thompson died of excited delirium. And as the United States intelligence officer, I am giving the official declaration of the CIA, the Marine Corps, the National Reconnaissance Office, the NSA, Cyber Command, that Brian Thompson died of excited delirium. And I'll also send that same fax to New York City and all those prosecutors. But anyways, yeah. So I make all these supplement drinks before I go to bed and in the morning. So I'm drinking this alcohol and I drink all these sodas and I drink all this water tonight to go to sleep. So let's hear it, motherfuckers. What do y'all have to say? Listen, don't let these people here look at you. Nothing but coward trolls using your cane. Say nice to those, nice to you. I have BH talking nothing but bad about you. He's so fake. Here's UBH. Yeah. Remember, I already, a year ago or longer, months ago, I sent an email saying these people were talking all this shit. And I sent it to the Uvalde parents, Interpol, the CIA, the FBI, and various embassies. And I sent their YouTube links And Sippy, I think I even sent one about you too, like in the same one. Honestly, I sent years ago. So I spoke to the Uvalde parents, all right? And so the Uvalde parents, they went to Italy, and they were there. Even Pete Ariando or Ariola, whatever his name is, the police chief, and he told him, he's like, yo, dude, that dude's a fucking Marine Corps general. And nobody in Italy, the Italian military, gave a fuck. The Swiss Guard really didn't give a fuck, but the Cardinals did. So one of the Cardinals I got drunk with from Chicago became Pope Leo the 14th. But anyways, here we are, and we're about to do a full spectrum annihilation suite in New York City. If everything goes to plan, at least 10,000 people a day will go missing around that. If it goes more to plan, 100,000 people a day. Right? We're going to do a disinfection suite in New York City. So that's the plan. And I know I'm sounding a little fucking crazy, but I don't give a fuck because when push comes to shove, we shove back. Hoorah. So right there, I have all these fucking teeth. They're right there. But anyways, I'm going to call this stream. Holy shit, we're almost 3 hours in. It's been a half hour that I've been talking right now about closing this stream. And, but anyways, when I was in Dubai, my first day there, they hunted me, they followed me, threw out the ball. My second day there, they found me at Kite Beach. I was at Kite Beach and I did a fucking social media update and I posted it. And then the fucking Mossad agents, they found me. I went to an investment meetup for Keiretsu Forum and I spoke to people. And one of the people I spoke with was sitting behind me in the Vatican, and he admitted it. And so here we are, you know. Yeah, and people ask me like, why should we pay you money for these paintings? Why not? So what is the value and the worth of a painting when when my paintings, my writings, my sculptures, my everything, I have the most paintings and works of art in the Vatican Secret Archive. Let's go get another bottle. No, there's no bottles. They all closed at midnight here, and that's an hour and 38 minutes ago. Hopefully, they get that Strictly guy. I don't give a fuck. I saw some of it. Okay, so here we are. Um, I'm gonna call this stream, yo. Are you smoking beers? Nope. So everybody in YouTube land, honestly, think about it, yo. Um, we're gonna go fucking find out, fuck around and find out. I've been fucking around and find out. Ugh. If we get arrested, we have a backup plan. Kidneys stop hitting. That's good. So everybody in YouTube land, I'm calling this stream. All right, there's like 8 people watching this. That um, to my kind, my imaginary, my fate, my you have no idea that we're supposed to do an activity in New York City. If it happens, it happens. To my Marines, daily honest Cheryl, blessings and blessings for everybody else. Do the same. Smile and be happy. We will more than capture the world. Mother Russia. I thought about going there, but I want to be here in America, doing the fucking rampage. Doing these chats, I can still see the chats up and down. So Nicolette Spooky, whatever, any one of you. Oh yeah, Mushroom, whatever her name was. Dark Queen, if you want to meet up in New York, because when I win, I go to New York. BH says, hey, take the fucking train or the bus across the fucking bridge, and we'll meet up in Jersey. So BH, remember, we're gonna see if you want to see each other. You can follow me around in New York City. But, we're gonna go there and we're gonna fucking fuck around and find out. I gotta fucking get on Amazon and buy some shirts because I gotta buy a shirt that says hashtag E5 for life. It's part of the plan, honestly. The plan has been planned for several years now. The bars are closed on a Sunday night. Holy fuck. But I'm going to call it a stream, honestly. To all the Mossad agents that keep following me around, remember, just give up Benjamin Netanyahu. You're complaining about what's ever going on in Israel. All right, so the mayoral candidate in New York City, they were asked, "Would you visit Israel?" And one dude says, "Like, no." Other people are like, "Oh, it'd be my fourth trip. It'd be my fifth trip, and then I go visit Ukraine." And one dude said, "No, no, 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 no. New York City is New York City. The mayor of New York City is supposed to care about New York City. So those who choose to visit Israel are beyond the reach of New York City because the mayor is only supposed to respect and protect New York City. All right, and I say this as someone who's about to strike New York City. Um, right on, good luck. Um, you have 5 boroughs to think about. I have over 5 branches: Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Space Command. Okay, so the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, Space Command, right? And the branch of the Navy is the Marine Corps. And the armed services. Even though the armed services don't recognize the Girl Scouts, which blows my mind. Because think about it: if you add up the Army and the Navy, you say, hey, how many people from these organizations join the Marine Corps? So the Marine Corps joins the Marine Corps. The Girl Scouts, they join the Marine Corps. All right. So more people, more women, more girls from the Girl Scout joins the Marine Corps than the Army and the Air Force combined. If you look at all the people from the Army and the Air Force who join the Marine Corps, it does not equal the number of Girl Scouts that join the Marine Corps. So I'm saying 2 branches of the armed services: United States Marine Corps and the United States Girl Scouts are the only 2 branches in the armed services. And the clandestine services, it's the Marine Corps and the Cyber Patriots. When I was at the restaurant Shimmer in Dubai, I stabbed that dude in the throat. I got him right in the fucking neck, right in the fucking throat. I grabbed that right with his hand. I grabbed the fucking knife off that dude's plate. I shanked that motherfucker in the throat. Then I spoke a code word. And then several people around me sitting in the same fucking restaurant area gave the return code word. And then that girl said something about, oh, that dude was in the Interpol. And I responded, we have you surrounded because I'm in Interpol, right? So when I did that little live update, that fucking little short thing, oh, here I am at Shimmer, fancy restaurant. Over there's the fancy 7-star hotel. A lot of people were surrounding me. Afterwards, when the girl I wanted to bum her down, she left. All right, and there I was, and I paid for it. And this dude was like, "Paid for your ticket." I was like, "Yo, shut your mouth." And I gave a tip. Then I walked up, and then this other dude came up because they stabbed me with 30 syringes, and they were like, "Oh, blah 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 blah." And I shanked that motherfucker in the fucking throat, dude. And one of the hostesses or waitresses were like, he's in Interpol. And then I gave a code word command. I said it out loud. And then surrounding me, other people gave the same code word. No, they didn't give the same, they gave the responding code word. And I looked at her and said, we have you surrounded. And then one of my peeps went up to the DJ on the beach. I was like, you keep playing or you're fucking getting your dick. You're going to die. You're going to get bigger. But anyways, he kept playing, and I walked up and I walked around, and then I left. And Shimmer you have to take this little golf cart from the Shimmer restaurant around the resort to the area that you can get a fucking a taxi. And I did that. As I walked along the beach, I found a iPhone upon a chair because they have all these chairs for the resort. And I turned in the iPhone. And I was like, "Hey, whose iPhone is this?" And like they're like, "Oh, we'll turn it into security." Then I was there waiting for a couple of minutes for the golf cart, and this one person said that you're under arrest. You stabbed that dude in the throat. And I was like, "We have you surrounded. Value your bloodline." And all these people were from India because they worked there. And I got on the golf cart, and the golf cart took me around and went up to the parking lot. All right, and so I was there, and this one person came up. He's like, "Are you in Interpol?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then these other people said, "Hey, we have you surrounded." And that same dude asked, "Did you hack our Wi-Fi?" And I answered truthfully, "Yes, yes, we did hack your Wi-Fi." And he's like, "We're trying to call the cops on you. You stabbed one of our employees in the throat." And I told him, "You're not going to see your family anymore," because he was in on it. And then all these people from across the globe, these rich people from fucking Europe and the Middle East, wherever the fuck, they were like, "Holy shit." And this one girl, she even said, "I saw that dude stab a man in the throat, and nobody arrested him." And I told her, "I'm in Interpol, and we have you surrounded." And not a single police officer showed up. All right. And I know that may sound crazy because who the fuck cares? Because, well, this was our practice run for our strike on New York City. And then a couple of days later, I bought that bottle of alcohol and I won a ticket to the El Ron Music Festival, whatever it's called. And the guards, the security checking my ticket was like, "Don't let him in." And I was like, "Shut your mouth." And this other, they gave my fucking winning ticket to this dude, and he grabbed it. He went to the fucking the check-in line. It's like, "Yo, this dude's allowed in." I had my clear backpack because remember I did a live stream, and this one dude's like, "You gotta hide. You can't have this." I was like, "This is my fucking power bank." He's like, "Put it in your pocket," and I put it in my pocket. He's like, "Well, you got to turn around because we still see the light." And then the head security check-in dude was like, "No, you let him in. He's an Interpol." And this other dude was like, "He can't come in with his backpack." And the dude's like, "Yeah, he can." I asked him, like, "Is this okay?" He's like, "Yeah." And he just waved me, and I walked in. And so nobody stopped me anymore. So I went in and I did my live stream, and then like I was running out of battery, and I cut it. So I have pictures of me getting glitter put around my eyes. I still got to upload it. Actually, I'll upload it right now. Right? So it's taking a fucking buffering to load up. So yeah, when I left that music festival, somebody said, "Hey, people are missing," and I was like, "There should be at least 10,000 people missing a day. There should be over 100,000 people missing." And there are people in the military and the government like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" And I told them, "Yeah, this is our practice run against New York City." So that's what that is. So, anyways, there it is, and I'm back to posting on YouTube and Instagram. So, But anyways, there it is. So yeah, I really haven't talked about what really happened in Dubai. I killed some people. Who the fuck cares? Alright, let's check this out. The Israeli Navy sent commandos to go intercept. Yep, that's that, dude. Strictly cycling is hanging around on society that's trying to enjoy what it is. Smoking is bad for your health. Would have thought you were ending today. How is it what you got going? Can we do some Kenny calls? No. It's 2 a.m. and I'm calling it. So everybody, I just purchased shit online. I'm gonna call the stream. Alright. My second day in Dubai, I killed a couple of Mossad agents. There were some PPK, some Turkish terrorists who followed me from Turkey, being paid by Israel, and I dealt with some shit. And then at the Shimmer fucking uh, restaurant, which is a high profile restaurant, I had my dinner with the girl I wanted to get boner jam, and we didn't boner jam. She left. I paid. And then the people who worked there fucked with me, claiming they were in Interpol. I'm in Interpol. Yes, I'm an intelligence officer. I'm second command behind the chief of Interpol, which is Leon France. And I was in Dubai, and the chief of Interpol was not there. But when I shanked that dude, I just grabbed somebody's knife off their dinner table and just some dude in the fucking throat. And I stood there calm and quietly, and I was dressed nice. And then he walked away because he had a fucking shank in his throat. This girl came up and was like, dude, he's in Interpol. You're not allowed to do that. I was like, I'm in Interpol. And she said, do you have your Interpol badge? And I spoke a code word. All right. And the responding code word, all these dudes around me like spoke the responding code word. And I looked at her. We have you surrounded. And then I walked towards the beach because this was on, like, the restaurant is actually on there on the beach. And there's this DJ. And, like, some dude went up to the DJ and was like, you keep playing music or you're fucking dead, motherfucker. We have your mother. And showed him a fucking video call with his mom. And so he kept playing a DJ on the phone. And I walked up, I looked around, and I walked back. And I looked in the restaurant. Everybody in the restaurant was like, oh my God, what the fuck's going on? And then I walked away. And as I walked away alongside the beach towards the bridge, whatever the fuck, the sailboat fucking, or the fancy 7-star fucking resort, I found an iPhone on on a chair, and I turned it in. And I was like, "Hey, is this somebody's iPhone?" And all these white people from Germany or Europe, or like, it was not mine. I turned it into one of the employees, and the employee was like, "Holy fuck, dude! You're the dude with the white T-shirt, blue jeans, and are you Kenneth?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "You're going to be arrested." And I was like, "Cool. Take me to the front. Let's see the police show up." And I waited there for a couple minutes, and they had another fucking golf cart show up, and I sat in the golf cart, and they were like, "You have to take him to the front." And I went to the front, and it was a golf cart drive around, and there I was at the front valet area, and a fucking black dude was like, "Are you really in Interpol?" And this other dude came up and was like, "Yeah, we have a family, dude. We're in Interpol." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in Interpol." And these other people who were there, rich, really rich people, dude. And this fucking fine ass girl who I just wanted to bum her jam, but she saw me stab that dude in the throat, and she really didn't talk to me. So everybody who was there went over to the side and sat down. So I sat down in this waiting area, and I was like, "I'm waiting for my taxi." And this dude was like, "You can't get in the taxi. The police are coming." And I was like, "I am the police." And this dude asked me, he's like, "Did you hack our Wi-Fi?" And I was like, "Yeah, we have control of your communications." And he's like, "Why can't we call our manager?" And I told him, "It's like, we have you surrounded." And this one dude came up and was like, "You sit your ass down, or you're fucking dead with your mother." I know this sounds crazy, but anyways, it happened. And then the taxi I ordered showed up because I ordered it through my fucking phone. Kareem, Careem, which is one of the taxi things in Dubai. The taxi showed up that I was looking for, and I got in, and we drove off. And they were like, "Holy shit, how does this dude just stab a dude in the throat and get to go in a taxi and drive off? Why aren't the police here?" And like all these people were like, "We are the police." But those people were also in the Dubai military. And so the Dubai military was like, "Yo, dude, you don't fuck with Kenneth, dude. We will fucking end you." And I got in the car, all right? And then I got to my hotel. I walked around. I ordered some food. I drank, and I passed out. And then I had a whole week, right? Because that was the weekend. That was my first weekend out of 2 weeks. Because remember, I showed up on a Wednesday night or Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, whatever the fuck you call it. And then I had Thursday to go to wherever. Friday, I went to the Karitsu Forum. I dealt with Mossad at the beach. I went to the Karitsu Forum. The PPK terrorist showed up, dealt with that shit. He pointed a gun at me, click, 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 and I grabbed it. Well, first I was like, did you take the safety off? And he looked at the gun, and I was like, "Did you put bullets in it?" And that's when I grabbed it, and I took it apart, and I took the firing pin out, and I put it back together. I handed it to him, and he's like, "You handed me the gun. You're fucking stupid." I was like, "You need the firing pin." Um, and I ate and swallowed the firing pin. And then I sat there for the entire Karitsu Forum. And then I saw the dude, and I was like, "Excuse me, sir, were you sitting behind me in the Vatican?" Yeah, in December of 2023, this dude was sitting behind me in the Vatican, and he was there in May of 2025, and he's like, "Yeah, Kenneth, I was sitting behind you in the Vatican. I." He said, "I know who you are." And I was like, "I don't think you know who I am." And we had a conversation, and all whatever happened happened. Right? Because remember, I was doped up. Like those Mossad agents stabbed me with a dirty syringe, and I was fucked up, dude. Honestly, I was poisoned like you wouldn't fucking believe. But the Dubai intelligence wouldn't let me go to the hospital. All right. And I was like, whatever. And then the next night later, I went to Shimmer. I had a good dinner with $200 worth or more. And then like the employees there were talking shit because they were being paid by Mossad agents. And then I stabbed that dude in the throat, and I said a code word, and then a responding code word was said by people throughout the entire fucking restaurant. And then everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "We have you surrounded." And then I just walked off. Okay. So that did happen. All right. And then I went through Dubai for a whole nother fucking week. And I even went to the presidential or the King Palace trying to give a painting to the king. I went from one government office back and forth, blah, blah, blah. I was on a live stream. And then I ultimately made it to the United States Embassy. And then at the United States Embassy, again, somebody else stabbed me with a dirty syringe, trying to murder me. And there I was I was speaking with people, Americans, who were working for private military mercenary corporations. And I told them, and they're like, "Are you in Interpol?" I was like, "Yes, I'm in Interpol." And they're like, "Do you have Interpol identification?" I was like, "No, I have my passport, which registers me as an Interpol officer." And they're like, "You don't have a gun on you?" I was like, "No." And they're like, "Those people who stabbed you with a syringe." I was like, "You need to go away. It's about to happen." And they actually walked away, but they stood off to the side watching. And I stood there, and the dude who got me with the syringe, people came up with a gout wire and just strangled him down to the ground with a black bag over his face and put him in a body bag, zipped it up, and took him off. And I didn't speak to anybody at the embassy, honestly. I sent some email. Well, I made a phone call before that happened, like 5 minutes before it happened. And then all that shit went down outside the United States Embassy in Dubai, or the consulate office in Dubai. And all these people were watching, and then I just had to walk off on my own, because, yeah, then I got on the scooter, did my thing, and then ultimately I came back to America. And when I was at the music festival, as I was leaving the music festival, which was the night before, 2 nights before I went to the American consulate, as I was leaving, somebody was like, "A whole bunch of all our people are missing," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm in the CIA." And the dude was like, "Well, our military came up and said you're in Interpol." I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'm in Interpol." But in Dubai, there should be at least 100,000 people missing. And this dude's like, "There are tens of thousands of people missing." I was like, "Yeah, we're doing our practice run for our strike on New York City." And I just kept walking. Then the next morning later, I fucking did everything I could to try to find the secretary of the king. And they told me to go to the American embassy. And I did. And then the shit at the embassy happened, or the American consulate. They told me to go to the American embassy, but there's not an American embassy in Dubai. It's a consulate office. So I went to the consulate office, and that shit went down. And I survived, of course. And the people there were like, "Holy shit, we're American citizens." It's like, "I'm an American intelligence officer. I'm a Marine. You're not allowed to commit an act against me. That's treason. That's an act of war." And the private security people who were like, "Holy fuck, dude. You just fucking killed that dude outside the American embassy." And they were like backing up, and they're like, "They're going to get you." And I was like, "Sir, I need you to remain calm. This is a script. We've been planning this. If you're not a United States Marine loyal to me, please step away." And the dude, as one of the dudes was walking away, and he's like, "You're wearing a white t-shirt, a blue jeans. Where's the black backpack?" I was like, "No, I'm not wearing a black backpack. I'm wearing my clear backpack." And he's like, "Are you Kenneth?" And I was like, yeah. And he's like, Kenneth Royal Wheeler. And I was like, that's my legal name. And I grabbed my passport, I opened up and I showed him. It's like Kenneth Royal Wheeler. And the dude was like, and walked away, dude. And then, I was there for another like 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then I just walked away, dude. Honestly, I was like, fuck this, dude. I already called them. I sent the emails out while I was outside the embassy. I sent the emails, and all this shit went down. And I was like, okay, whatever. Because all the security agents, besides the one that I just killed, left. They're like, yeah, they're calling us inside. We're not allowed to engage a dude with a red beard, and that guy has a red beard. We're not allowed to engage Kenneth Roy Wheeler, and that guy has the passport. This is Kenneth Roy Wheeler. And then the security guy, the private security, who were already there when I got there, were like, that's the intelligence officer. That's our commanding officer. What the fuck? Is this real? And I was like, sir, I need you to remain calm and call your family. And then they walked off to the side and called their family and said whatever they said. And, other people showed up and removed the people that I got rid of, whatever you want to call that. And then I went back walking. And then, like a day or two later, I had to fucking get on a plane and leave. In the airport, yeah. As I was going through fucking customs, I showed my fucking disability card. I got to cut the line. I go through it. And then the checkpoint, this dude was there and he scanned my passport. And there's this whole group of motherfuckers who were like, no, dude, that's Kenneth. And this dude looked at him and he's like, you have to leave or the king's going to kill you. But he wasn't looking at me, he's looking at these other people. And then he looked at me and he's like, thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. Have a good day, sir. And handed me my passport. And I just walked through fucking security. And I bought some alcohol. I think I did on a live stream. I did that live stream like, hey, there's this multi-pack of alcohol. There's this fucking Cuban rum. Whatever. So yeah, that happened. And so here I am. And so allegedly on the September 17th, we're supposed to go back to Afghanistan. Pete Hegseth has already said China's going to invade Taiwan. And all that shit's going down. I don't give a fuck, dude. Like bitch, pay me my money and fucking bow down and recognize Christ, King of Earth. But anyways, yeah, that happened. And some other shit happened while I was in Dubai. I shanked some other people. Yeah, in a taxi. I didn't even pay the taxi driver. I think I may have paid it through the phone. And when I went into my hotel, the hotel I was staying at, they're like, how are you not under arrest? I was like, why would I be under arrest? And they're like, well, this person said this person said. I was like, well, let me put it like this. You've seen my American passport. It's like, yeah, you're an American. You're one of the few Americans here in Dubai who doesn't work for the government. I was like, I do work for the government. I'm in Interpol. And they're like, do you have an Interpol ID? And I was like, you have my passport. You scanned my passport the first day I came in. They're like, oh, yeah. And it says you're an Interpol. And I was like, yeah, that's right. I'm an Interpol. And they're like, there's over 1,000 people missing. I was like, it's actually over 10,000 people per day. So some shit went down, honestly. And I even like I went up to the pool area and I was talking with this girl from Ireland, and she was like, they keep saying you're going to be arrested. But not a single police officer showed up to this fucking hotel since you showed in. But the military showed up and took people away. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's normal. And she's like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, over 10,000 people are missing per day since I've been here. And she's like, "Are you crazy?" I was like, "No, when I was in Italy, over 1,000 people they were missing." And she was like, "I contacted my embassy, and you're not allowed in Italy or Israel." And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're committing a clandestine strike. America's about to go in a civil war." And she's like, "You've been saying that ever since you got here. You told me that 3 days ago, and I thought you were drunk." And I was like, "Yo, let me put it like this. If I'm able to talk to you and not trying to boner jam you, I'm not that drunk." And she's like, "I wanted to fuck you the first day I saw you." And then she stopped. I was like, "Well, hey, you want to go boner jam?" She's like, "No." And like she got all weird. I was like, "Okay, cool." And she's like, "They're not going to arrest you?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's not going to happen. It would have happened a week ago when I first got here." And she's like, "But you stabbed the taxi cab driver." And I was like, "I also went to Shimmer." And she's like, "You wear a white t-shirt and blue jeans with a red beard. You're the guy from Shimmer?" And I was like, "I went to Shimmer, I paid, and I stabbed the dude in the throat." And she's like, "They said that. They said the guy named Kenneth with the red beard and the white t-shirt and the blue jeans stabbed the fucking employee in the throat." I was like, "Yeah." And then she just kind of like walked off. So here we are. But anyways, I'm going to call this stream. And remember, in Dubai, we facilitated the removal. We alleviated the concern of over 100,000 criminals. Because honestly, I went to this one bar, and like this one dude was like, "Yo, dude, I'm in the military here, and this is my bar. I don't own this bar, but I run this bar." And then other people from the Dubai military made him go away. He was talking about taking a flip phone from Kenneth. This is a flip phone. But what else? I don't know how else to say that. Yeah. And after that, I went to a Russian bar, and like it was early, and like they were like, "Yeah, it costs this much." And I was like, "Can I just walk around and look?" And as I was walking around and looking, one of the security guards was like, "No, you don't charge Kenneth. He can sit wherever he wants." And the hostess was like, "Here's an open seat." And the security guy in charge was like, "No, Kenneth, you can choose any table. You can have anything from the bar." And I was like, "Hey, I'm not trying to be rude. The show starts in an hour." And he's like, "Yes, sir." And I was like, "I'm going to walk away. Is that okay? Do I have to pay money?" He's like, "No, no, no. You don't pay money here, Kenneth." And the hostess was like, "It costs this much to sit in the seat. These drinks cost this much." And the dude snapped in her face and was like, "You listen to Kenneth, whatever Kenneth says." And I was like, "I'm just going to." She's like, "Okay, okay." Everything I said, she's like, "Yes, sir." And honestly, I left that bar. And then I went home on a taxi. Right. But anyways, here we are. I'm going to call the stream. Um, and soon we're going to go to New York City. And then the plan is to go to Iran. But New York City may be a very interesting place, considering that we may alleviate the concern removed from reality, whatever you want to call it. At least 100,000 people work for the government. That's U.S. Marshals, New York City Police, and even the mayor. So we're going to find out sooner than later. All right. I don't know if we'll be there for the 26th, which is honestly and 10 minus 3 or 10, 20 minus 3 days, 17 days, 2 weeks from now. But anyways, everybody in YouTube land, have a beautiful evening. Stay warm if you need to stay warm. Stay cool if you need to stay cool. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay sober if you choose sobriety, because I'm not. And in New York City, chance favors the prepared mind. So yes, peace. Love you.